Continuing coverage now, an independent consulting firm found there was no single point of failure that led to the death of a 22-year-old woman in an East Wichita apartment fire. That fire happened last October at the Brookhollow apartments in East Wichita. KAKE's Jocelyn Schifferdecker is here now to explain what that special audit found. Jocelyn?
Yeah, Deb, this is the long awaited for audit. The company who did it, Jensen Hughes, says there's not one problem, but instead several shortcomings from all agencies involved that led to the unorganized rescue effort in Paoly Bedeski's death. It's been more than a year since this fire at the Brookhollow apartment complex at Central and Rock Road took 22-year-old Paoly Bedeski's life.
Jensen Hughes found no single point of failure by any of the agencies involved that could be solely attributed to the fatality of Ms. Bedeski.
After the fire, the Wichita Firefighters Union came forward, saying emergency communications could have handled the response differently. That led city and county leaders to hire consulting firm Jensen Hughes. It looked at all the records and listened to every call from the fire that night, saying the response by the city of Wichita and Sedgwick County was unorganized.
Had these significant shortcomings not occurred, it would have provided Ms. Bedeski with a better chance of early rescue and subsequent increased potential for survival.
First, the audit looked into the county's emergency communications. It says Bedeski herself called 911.
What's your apartment number? I'm sorry, you'll have to say that clearly.
306.
Investigators say the released 911 call where Bedeski says her apartment number is higher quality than what dispatchers hear.
What the dispatcher here are different. Because of that, we sat down on one of our site visits and literally sat down and listened to the live calls and compared them to the recorded playback. And what we could hear is not what we heard on the headsets.
But the audit found the dispatcher failed to use the playback feature to hear it again. Jensen Hughes also says the dispatchers used two different headsets, which makes it harder to listen and understand.
We still want to push Sedgwick County into looking at moving to a single headset for all of the dispatch and call taker staff. I have not seen in my experience of 30 years in public safety where a dispatch center uses two headsets.
It also notes a delay in sounding a second alarm that would have brought in more fire crews faster. The audit found that was because several dispatchers and a supervisor didn't know how to do it.
It's about understanding that people were injured, firefighters were put in jeopardy, and some of them injured, and a beautiful young lady lost her life.
The study also found the Wichita Fire Department didn't have a timely plan for fighting the fire. In this case, Jensen Hughes says crews moved to other buildings before completing the search of Building 300, where Bedeski was trapped inside.
We're going to digest this information, but the most important thing we can do is continue progress. This is not just a receive and file and we move on.
Now, Wichita Fire and Sedgwick County 911 were the two main agencies involved, but the audit also mentions police and EMS, recommending police and fire work together to develop procedures for assisting on fire scenes. Jocelyn Schifferdecker, KAKE News on your side.